For weeks, Kayla would come home completely drained, consumed by strategies to outdo a colleague at work. At first, she was driven by fierce determination, but over time, her energy began to fade. A few weeks later, she casually mentioned they had started collaborating on projects, especially with a big client deadline approaching. I couldn't shake an uneasy feeling, wondering if it was more than just business. Kayla tried to reassure me, but my thoughts often wandered to uncomfortable places. After landing, I grabbed my bag and immediately started thinking about surprising Kayla with dinner. I wanted it to be special but low-key. During my taxi ride to the hotel, the driver mentioned a cozy, dimly lit restaurant nearby that sounded perfect. After checking in, I quickly freshened up, changed, and headed out to find Kayla before she made other plans. By 5:50, I was at her hotel's reception desk, greeted by a friendly receptionist. Smiling warmly, I introduced myself. "Hi, I'm Russell." "Hi, could you check if my wife, Kayla Green, is in her room?" "I'd like to surprise her," I said at the reception desk. The receptionist confirmed her name, glanced at her records, and dialed the room. After a moment, she looked up apologetically. "I'm sorry, there's no answer. Would you like to leave a message?" I hid my disappointment and smiled. "Not right now." I was hoping to catch her off guard. "Tomorrow's our anniversary, so please keep this quiet." She smiled back. "Of course, sir. I hope you both have a wonderful day tomorrow." "Thank you," I said, heading toward the restaurant the taxi driver had recommended. As I passed through the lobby, I noticed a lively hall full of people eating and chatting. Though it seemed unlikely, I decided to take a look. After scanning the room and freshening up in the restroom, I still couldn't spot Kayla. Just as I was about to leave, I heard a faint, familiar laugh. My heart raced as I scanned the room again, but large booths blocked much of my view. Slowly, I walked down the row, careful not to disturb anyone. Then, at the third booth, I froze. There was Kayla, deep in conversation with a man I didn't recognize. My heart sank. I spotted Kayla, stunning in an elegant dark dress, her warmth lighting up the conversation she was having with a man I didn't recognize. My pulse quickened as he leaned closer, and then they shared a gentle kiss. Shocked, I stepped back, sinking into a chair in the hall, trying to steady myself. Moments later, her laughter rang out again as they walked past me, hand in hand. Their closeness was undeniable, and the way she gazed at and twisted something inside me. Unable to ignore what I'd seen, I followed them at a distance as they entered the very restaurant I'd planned to take her to. Pausing to gather myself, I eventually slipped inside, keeping to the shadows. At a cozy table in the back, they sat, completely engrossed in each other. A waitress approached me. "What can I get for you, dear?" she asked with a warm smile. "Double scotch on the rocks," I replied, keeping my voice steady. As I waited, snippets of their conversation reached me. The man's low voice murmured, "Our meeting isn't until 10 tomorrow, so we have plenty of time to celebrate tonight." Kayla replied playfully, "I'm glad you didn't let him push you into leaving early." "Missing our 2-month anniversary?" "Not a chance." My stomach sank. 2 months. Her words stung, but it didn't stop there. They toasted to their time together and the future ahead. I stared at my untouched drink, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. Snapping me out of my daze, the waitress placed my drink in front of me. "Here you go, dear. Is there anything else?" I handed her a $10 bill. "Thank you, ma'am," I said, refocusing on their table. They barely noticed me until Kayla caught the shift in his gaze. She looked over, her expression bright until she realized who I was. "You know," I said loud enough for her to hear, "a guy should carry a camera for moments like these." Her face froze, a mix of shock and confusion. "You're a picture-perfect couple," I added, my voice edged with sarcasm. "This would make a great postcard." Kayla sat there, stunned, as I continued, 2 months, huh? Funny, I remember my anniversaries too. But after 11 years, they don't feel quite the same. I raised my glass mockingly. "Here's to 2 months, a real symbol of love and commitment." Then, I pulled off my wedding ring and tossed it onto their table. The small metal piece clinked loudly. "Here's a little gift from me." The man, Kevin, I gathered, started to protest, but I cut him off. Turning to Kayla, I said coldly, "Make sure he knows how lucky he is that he didn't show up at my house." I lowered my voice. "Let me know where to send your things. And do me a favor, stay clear of my house." With that, I walked out, my footsteps echoing in the stunned silence. Outside, the cool air hit me as I strode back to my hotel, my mind spinning with anger, disbelief, and sadness. I couldn't believe what I'd just witnessed. At the front desk, I asked the attendant, "Excuse me, could you provide me with contact numbers for airlines? I need to book a flight urgently." "Of course, sir," she replied. "Do you have a specific airline or departure time in mind?" I quickly provided the details, and she assured me the information would be sent to my room. Upstairs, pacing restlessly, my mind churned over the evening's events. How had this happened? Had I missed something about Kayla all these years? Her behavior tonight felt like a betrayal written into a script. The receptionist called out, "Sir, if you leave now, you should make the last flight of the day. Registration closes in 30 minutes. Otherwise, the next flight isn't for 3 hours." "Thank you," I replied, a flicker of relief breaking through. After signing the receipt, she offered a kind smile. "I'm sorry you have to leave so soon. Please come back and stay with us next time." I nodded, appreciating her warmth, and turned for the exit. Memories threatened to overwhelm me as I walked through the lobby, but I shoved them aside. I had to leave. At the taxi stand, I jumped into a cab and leaned forward. $50 if you get me to the airport in under 30 minutes. The driver grinned confidently. "You got it, boss." True to his word, he navigated the streets like a pro, delivering me to the airport in just 20 minutes. I paid the fare, handed him a $150 tip, and rushed into the terminal, my mind still spinning. After clearing security, I realized I had a few minutes before boarding. For once, I didn't need music to distract me, the airport bustle was enough. A fleeting thought made me chuckle softly. Kayla's mother, Diana, had never approved of me. She controlled her husband, Brian, treating him more like an accessory than a partner. She even accused me of cheating on Kayla once, baselessly, just to stir trouble. On the flight, my thoughts refused to settle. I pulled a photo of Kayla and me from my wallet, studying it intensely. The man in the picture didn't seem like me anymore. I glanced around to ensure no one was watching before looking back at the photo. In my mind, the way Kayla had looked at him tonight eclipsed everything in the photo. It was a look I hadn't seen directed at me in years. With wide eyes, a mixture of shock and disbelief crossing her features. Her lips trembled slightly as she struggled to find the right words. "Russell, what are you saying? Are you telling me my daughter is leaving you? Moving in with someone else?" Her voice cracked, filled with an emotion that matched mine. I nodded slowly, feeling the weight of my own words, yet still unsure of how it had all escalated. "I don't know, Diana. But I can't ignore the signs anymore. She's been distant, and this thing with this man, it's been going on for a while. She hasn't told me everything, but the distance, the secrecy. I can't pretend everything is fine." Diana stood there for a moment, frozen, her gaze shifting between the bags and me. She seemed to be trying to process everything, to come to terms with the situation as best she could. "I can't believe this is happening," she whispered, more to herself than to me. "I thought Kayla was happy. I thought you two were happy." I swallowed hard, trying to hold it together. "We were, or at least, I thought we were. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. I don't know what she's thinking, but I can't let it continue like this." My voice betrayed me, cracking slightly at the end. Diana took a deep breath, a small sob escaping as she wiped a tear from her cheek. "What are you going to do now?" she asked quietly, the words heavy with concern. "I don't know," I admitted, feeling lost. I thought maybe dropping off her things here would give me some clarity, but now I'm just as confused as before. She nodded, her expression softening. "I'm sorry, Russell. I really am. I know this isn't easy. But maybe, just maybe, you should let her talk when she gets here. Don't make any more decisions until you hear her out. She needs to explain, and you deserve that much." I stared at the bags, then back at Diana. "I'll wait for her. But I don't know how to move forward from this." "Take it one step at a time," Diana said gently, giving me a reassuring pat on the shoulder. "We'll figure this out together." As I turned to leave, I felt a strange mix of relief and dread. I wasn't sure what would happen when Kayla returned, but one thing was certain: everything had changed. And I had to be prepared for whatever was coming next.